And whoops.
Recording started.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone. It is Wednesday morning, January 29th. I am still in shock that first semester's over and not only second semester started, but we're at the end of January. So, and I'm kind of having a freak out moment because my son is a senior in high school. He's my baby, and he's on his second semester, and he'll be graduating in no time. So I'm still in shock over how fast the year is going. First, I want to welcome all of you back, but I want to ask if anyone's new, give a really warm welcome to any newbies. Oh, my son's name is Andy. Anyone new? Give me a smiley face or a green check if you are new. No newbies. One. Let's see. Where's our newbie? Okay. Is it Kevis? Welcome. Glad to have you here. And if you do need any help, make sure that you let us know. Don't hesitate to raise your hand. What we're going to be doing today is a little different than what we usually do because it's very visual. Three-dimensional figures and graphs are very visual. Oh, by the way, this is Mrs. Myers. I'm so sorry I didn't mention that at the beginning. Hopefully all of you remember me from last semester. What we will be doing when I say working with three dimensions is we're going to be working with what we call the three-dimensional coordinate system in and primarily in locating and plotting points. And it's really important that you understand this because the next lesson is going to be learning how to write equations using the three-dimensional coordinate system. And if you have a hard time with just understanding what the coordinate system is, then it'll make it even harder when we get into writing the equations and identifying the equations. So, okay, this is pretty easy. You have been working with this for a couple of years now. Can anyone tell me what this is? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. I see Lorena typing. Thank you. A graph, a grid, graph bar. Yeah, all of those are right. We actually call it more than anything an XY coordinate system or a two-dimensional coordinate system. And if you think of the coordinate system as a piece of paper and you have it, think of any piece of paper and you can just look at a piece of paper that you're working on. It has two dimensions. It has length and width, or X and Y, right? So if you take a piece of paper and you just draw smack down the middle of it, one way and the other, you're going to have your X and your Y. Well, we don't live in a two-dimensional world. We live in a three-dimensional world. So we actually have a way to identify points in our three-dimensional world, and that is by taking over to what we call our three-dimensional coordinate graph. So you remember your two-dimensional right here. The three-dimensional is a little different. And so where we had our X was going across, we're going to move our X coming so that it's facing you. And our Y is then going to be going across. Think of it if you took this grid and laid it down on a piece of paper and turned the paper so that it faced you. All right? And I'm going to show you a little bit of we're going to do something a little different today with a manipulative. So I'm going to ask everyone to get a piece of paper. If you have an index card is perfect for this. And I want you to draw the XY coordinate graph. If you have graph paper or an index card, that works the best. And I want you just to tear out a little hole in the middle. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do this, and I'm going to pause the recording and then give me a green check when you have your little two-dimensional grid with the hole in the middle. Okay, so about half of you have given me a green check, and I know you guys can be a little shy with responding, so we're going to go ahead. But the reason that we're doing this is going to really help you visualize that 3D system, 3D coordinate system. So here's our two-dimensional coordinate system. We have our X, we have our Y, and I asked you to cut a little hole or tear a little hole in the middle where the origin is. Now I'd like you to take your pencil and put your pencil, I used a straw, but take your pencil and run it through that origin, all right? And I want you to point the X towards you. The Y will then be off in the it'll look like it's horizontal now. And then you will see where your top of your pencil is going to be, this is going to be your Z-axis, all right? Does everyone see that? So now you can have points in any of these areas, but what you have to keep in mind is underneath what we're not seeing here, because the way I photographed this, is you also have your negative Z. So we also have points down below. Everyone's seeing this. I'd like to get a green check if you see now how we have a three-dimensional system. Great. Okay, so you guys are seeing it. I'm going to take it a step further. And you don't need to make one of these unless you want to, and we'll talk about that again. If you actually had, instead of having just the pencil, if you actually had a full sheet of paper here, you would see that our three-dimensional grid coordinate system actually looks more like this. And you remember when we were working with our two-dimensional, how we had our 4 octants, and we would name them, we named them or numbered them 1, 2, 3, and 4 in what we call counterclockwise order. Everyone remember that? I remember when we went over this last semester, everyone did really well. You remember that. Okay, so with our three-dimensional one, we're going to do the exact same thing, except now we are going to have not 4, but 8 octants. And the way we're going to do that is if we have our X facing us, our Y going off to the side, and Z is facing up. Where we started before, we're going to start again, and we're going to go counterclockwise. And go underneath to the negative part of Z underneath Y. But now what do you think we do? Now we have to look at what is actually on that negative Z. See, remember, I mean negative X. So when we go behind here, right back behind this side would actually be now would be 5. And behind this side would be 6. And behind the 3 would be 7. Whoops, that's a 7 there. And our last one would be 8. Okay? And you could also number, I'm sorry, I used Roman numerals 1. Whoops, let me change the color on that so we don't get confused. You could also do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, behind 6, behind 7, and behind 8. Okay? Everyone see we have 8 octants. Instead of quadrants, instead of 4 sections, we have 8 sections. And we're going to identify points, noticing which octant they're in. So let's try that now. And by the way, I'm going to give, because I think it's really important to help you visualize, if you made one of these and you take a picture of it, or you made one of these, which is just a little harder, you're just going to cut along to the middle, and you make one of these and take a picture of it. If you're one of my students, make your own 3D sample, take a picture of it, and upload the picture to our extra credit Dropbox, and I will give you 5 points of extra credit. The reason is because I really do feel that looking at it like this is going to help you visualize and understand it. So if you do if you do make your own 3D sample, take a picture of it, upload it in the extra credit box. I will give you 5 points extra credit, and I will let the other geometry teachers know about this, so hopefully they will do the same. Okay, so now let's try identifying the octants, and let's find points and see which octant it's in. So this is in your problem set, and want to make sure everyone knows how to find their problem set. So give me a green check if you know how to find the problem set in your in the online class, in the LMS. Okay, what we will do is at the end of the class, I'm going to take you into a tour of the class and make sure you see how to do it. But it is located in 3 places. Under Resources, right at the top of the unit. Oh, I see a couple questions. You guys can't hear? Hold on. Oh, yeah, you get extra credit for either one of them, Austin. All right. And Lorena, I'll address that in a second. Okay, so where were we? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to stop the recording and check all these chat box things. Okay, so I'm sorry, I was talking about problem sets. In order to find the problem sets, you're going to go into your unit, and it should be the very first thing under Resources, or when you're looking at the lessons, the bottom left will have a tab that says Resources, and then you can also link onto it on one of the last slides in the lesson. But if you don't know where your problem sets are, stay in the class at the end. We'll do a class tour, and we'll make sure that you see it, okay? And don't forget, you complete those problem sets, scan them, 3 problem sets, and upload them in the Dropbox, you get extra credit. Okay, so state the octant in which each point lies, right here. And so what we're going to do, we're actually going to start with C because it's got positive numbers, so it's a little easier to visualize. And I'm going to walk you through this one, and then you guys are going to practice a couple on your own, all right? So let's take this very first, let's start with C, and it tells you 7 to -1. And our numbers are going to go, remember we had before, we had the X, Y. Well, now we have X, Y, and Z. So our Z is going to be last, and our X, remember our X is over here, our Y is over here, and our Z is up here. All right? So let's first find 7. So if we find 7, let me back up here. We're going to go along the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and say that's right there. Okay? Now we're going to go over to one, 2. So that would be 2, and that would be like right here would be our point 7 and 2. Now we have to go down 1. See that Z, -1? So we're going to drop down 1, and we're going to be like right under that, that blue plane. So if we were doing it over here, we would be going 1, 2, I'm trying to stay color-coded so that it's easy for you guys to follow this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we are at 7. Then we're going to go over 2. Over 2 on the y-axis. We take us here, and then we have to go down 1 for the z-axis. So that would actually be right here or down here. So the spot is actually like right here. Okay? Does everyone see that? Okay, what I'm going to do now is I want you guys to do, why don't you do A on your paper, and then we'll do it together. I'll pause the recording, and I want you to try to find A. Oh, and then, I'm sorry, what we need to do is, now that we have, let me back up. Now that we've done that, we have to figure out which quadrant would this actually be in. And remember, we numbered our quadrants a few minutes ago. So we see that this would be quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. This is actually in quadrant 4. Okay? So go ahead now and do A. And then I'd like you to type in the chat box which quadrant you think it's in. And why don't we'll do a polling. Let me do this, and you can actually, instead of doing the chat box, let's do this. Let me give you a couple options. And we're working on A. And tell me which quadrant you think it's in. Looks like you guys want a little more practice, a little more help, so let's do this one together. So A, so we're going to go -3, and in this case then we'll go -3 is our x, and we're on our, here's our x-axis, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 would be -3. We're going to go on the y-axis -2, 1, 2. So we actually would be like right here. And then we're going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We would be right up here. Okay, so that would be our would be number A. And what quadrant would that be? Well, again, we are at 1, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, we've gone back. So we're on the back side of that y-axis. So we would actually be in quadrant number 6. All right? You guys, if you followed that, give me a green check. And if you didn't follow it, give me an X and I'll help you with number B. And it's very, guys, do not feel bad if it's confusing to you, because it is very hard to visualize. That's why I'd like you to make an example like this, because then you can really start to see it. Yeah, it is. It's very confusing. That's why today's lesson we concentrate on just working with this grid. There's no quiz at the end. Just want to make sure that you start to visualize this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to clear the page. And we'll do it we'll do stamp number D. And we'll do B together. So remember, it's X. Go X. X is going to be 2. Here's our x-axis. Everyone following along? We're going to come up here and we're going to go to 2 on our x-axis. Now we're going to go to y. Y is going to be -2. Here's our y, or -1, excuse me. Here's our y-axis. So here's -1. So if we came out right now, our point is right here. Now we're going to go up 5, and we're going to go then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are actually all the way up here. Now notice we're on the positive side of X, the negative side of Y, and the positive side of Z. So that is actually here. You can see, look over here, we're positive, negative, and positive. So we're actually right here in quadrant 2. Are you guys getting a better feel for this? Green check. A bit, okay. The X is, this part of X is positive, and behind this would be the negative. Okay? Each grid has a positive and a negative. Good question, Austin. Yeah, so this would be, let me show you, this would be X positive, X negative, Y positive, Y negative, Z positive, and Z negative. Does that help? Okay. All right, so I will let you go on and do D on your own as part of your problem set. And we will move on in just basic plotting. And again, where before we had X and Y, that color standing out enough for you? Shadows there, it's cool. Okay, before we had X, Y, now we're adding that Z, and that Z just comes at the end of where we had our X, Y, right? So before we would have just X, Y, or 1, 3, now we have 1, 3, 4. And what we're going to do, I'm going to show you kind of a way to help you in graphing. And it's making a box, but the box is not part of the solution. Only the point is the solution. The box helps you find the point. All right, so if we have point 1, we're going to go up. Here's our x-axis, and it's positive. So we're going to go to this point right here. Then we're going to go over 3. Y is 3. 1, 2, 3. And what we're going to do is actually draw a box here to help us find right now. This is 1, 3. And now we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. would take us to about here. Well, my lines aren't perfect. So we were here, we're up 4 now. So our correct answer, the spot that we are looking for, the point we are looking for is right here. That is over 1, over 3, up 4. This is it. All right? So the answer is this little spot, is this point right here. The box helps you find it. Remember, x is 1. This is our x-axis, so we went 1 on the x. Then we went 3 on the y, excuse me, and then we went up 4, which was z. Okay? So 4 is on the z. Can I get a green check if you followed that? Or an X if you didn't. We'll practice it. I can either show you one more. Okay, let me show you one more. This is a really hard concept to visualize in 2 dimensions. See, there we go, and that's the same thing. Okay, let's do another one. And I want you guys, why don't we, I would like to ask you to try doing it on your paper. Try drawing a grid like this. Like this. Try drawing a grid. I'd like you to do it on your paper and follow along. Okay? So, X. First, I want everyone to identify the x-axis right here. And now find 2, positive 2 on that x-axis right here. And we're going to do the box method. Now I'd like you to find the y-axis and go -4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means that your point would be over up 2 on x and over 4. The point is actually right about here. You make this first little box. Everyone with me? I'll give you another minute, Sarah, no problem. So right now we have point right here. We're at, this would be over 2 and over -4, x2, y -4. Now we're going to go on the z-axis up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost 5, almost a straight line. So we make a little box, just like we did when we were working with our 1 and 2 dimensions at the beginning of the unit. So now we know that if we were to go up 2, over 4, and then up 5, we would be at this point right here. So that is the point that we want. Again, what we did is we're going to go on the z-axis, on the x-axis, positive 2. On the y-axis, we went negative 4. And then on the z-axis, we went positive 5. So we're over here, all the way up here. Okay. The third point, okay, awesome, you got it, awesome. All right. Let me have a green check now if you guys feel a little more comfortable with it. Yay! Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Sarah, are you seeing it any better? Okay. Stay in the class and I can go over it with you again. All right? Let me go over it one more time just to make sure that everyone is seeing it. So we have what we're doing here. And guys, it's very hard to visualize. But because it is three-dimensional on a two-dimensional paper. So it takes a while to get used to. Do not get frustrated with this. It does take a while to get used to this. And it's really cool. Once you get used to it, you're like, oh, this is cool. So, all right. So we have our x, y, z. So our x2, so we're going to find the x-axis, and we go to 2. Positive 2. Just put a little circle there, put a point there. Our y is negative 4. So we're going to look at the y-axis, this whole axis, and we're going to go to negative 4. When we start here, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Put a little circle there, and then create a rectangle, basically, or a box, a rectangle to identify those 2 points. And now you know this point right here is 2, negative 4. The last step is you're going to take your z-axis. Can you guys hear my dog snoring in the background? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to create a box or a rectangle here too. It's actually a parallelogram. And then what we've done now is we realize that we went up 2, over negative 4, up 5. This is our spot. Are you following that better now, Sarah? Yay! All right, good. Okay, so the last thing that we want to do then is we'll practice it actually one more time. This is again from your problem set. Use the figures shown in the three-dimensional coordinate system. What are the coordinates of point E? So point E is right here. So let's do this together. I want you guys to type in the chat box. Point E, first let's find our x along here. What would it be? Go start out on the x is 1, positive, 2, positive. What is it? I don't see anyone typing in. Okay, so our x-axis. Yeah, excellent, Sarah. You got it. Yeah, absolutely. So here's our x-axis, and we're looking for point E. So how far along this axis did we go? We went 1, 2, 3. So x is 3. Now what is y? How many over on the y-axis are we going? Yeah, Mariah, excellent. We went 4. And did we go up or down at all on the z-axis? No. Yeah, so z is going to be 0. So point E is 3, 4, 0. Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right, and then the next question. Which point corresponds to 3, 4, 6? And this one we're going to do polling. Let me give you, if you think, this is going to be confusing. A, B, C, or D. These are your polling options, not your answer. And then your answer is going to be, let me see here. Okay, let me change polling. And now, which point corresponds to 3, 4, 6? So you want to go 3, 1, 2, 3, over 4, and then up 6. Oh, I think you guys are, yeah, this is what I should have left it as is. Everyone's saying D. Yes, it is D. You guys got it. I think you got it. D is the answer. So right here is D, or D. There you go. Yeah, it's C in the polling, D is the answer. That was confusing. I apologize. If you guys go, let me just leave it at that. There, which is it? And you're right, it's D. The minute I tried doing that, I thought, this is going to be confusing. But I see you guys got it. I love it. Okay. How are you guys feeling? You following it? I know it's a big change. Yay! Okay, before we do anything else, I'm going to, this is another because it's the beginning of the semester, and I want you, we can do one more, hang on. I want you to make sure that you save the whiteboard or print it out. This is really helpful because that way when you go back to your notes, you have this that can help you with doing your problem set or in taking or preparing for quizzes and tests. So I want to make sure you know how to do that. You go up to File, and then you'll see Save when you click on File, and then you just say Save Whiteboard. And you can save it as a PDF. You can also go up to it, File, and Print. Or just print, and then it'll let you print all pages or whatever. The reason you should do that and do it at the end of your Class Connect sessions is you will see all the stuff we write on there. And that way you get that color coding and so forth, which is really helpful to everyone. Okay, especially at a lesson like this, it can be kind of confusing. Okay, someone asked me to do one more. Mind if I clear, I'm going to clear this. And we'll do one more on here. Let's do the coordinates of, how about the coordinates of point H? Okay? Let's do the coordinates of point H. So here's H. How far on X did we go? Anyone? Zero. Excellent, Elijah. Outstanding. Okay. How many on Y did we go? Mariah, you got it. Yes. We went 4. And how many on Z did we go? We go up at all? No, we aren't. See, we're right here on the y-axis. We haven't gone up at all. So yeah, the answer would be 0. So H would be 0, 4, 0. You guys get that? How about green checks if you're following it? Yeah, I'm getting in the chat box lots of yes. Yay! Awesome! All right. Do you guys want to do one more, or now you got the hang of it? No, don't make it. It's kind of fun. It's really fun. One more? Chat privileges at the end. Because it's almost 11 and you guys have to head off to your next class connect. Let's do one more. Let's do A. A is kind of out there. So what would A be? I'll take a look at it, Sarah, when we're all done. Awesome, you're doing awesome. Let's see. We are close. Ah, there you go, Mariah. All right. So where are we on X? We went over 1, 2, 3. Take it step by step. So A is 1, 2, 3. See how that's there? That's A. Then where are we on the y-axis? Do we go over any on the y-axis? No, exactly. So we would be 0. And where are we on the z-axis? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And actually we get to 6. Excellent. And there you go. Okay, you guys following it now? All right. Yeah, that one was harder. But if you go step by step, don't rush and do first your X, then your Y, then your Z, and write them down as you go, then you're going to be in great shape. Okay. All right, we talked about the whiteboard. Now, to wrap it up, you should be able to identify the 3 axes, which we did as X, Y, and Z. You should be able to identify the octant. We did all 8 octants. You should be able to plot the point and name the point, and we did that right back there. So if you can do all of those things, then you did awesome today. And again, if you take a picture of your 3-dimensional object and or your 3D manipulative and email it or email it to me, or I'm sorry, post it in the Dropbox, then I will give you 5 points extra credit. And if you have any questions, stay in the room. It's almost 11, time for you guys to go on to your next class connect. But if anyone that's having any questions, feel free to stay in the room. I will stay in here and help you. And also I have student choice today at 1, and I can answer any questions then. All right? Thanks, guys. It was fun seeing you. It's a fun lesson, and I hope you had fun with it. And I'm so happy to see the light go on and know that you guys are getting it. Awesome, awesome, awesome.